Welcome back to the Becoming Relentless podcast. I am your host, Elenoa McCabe. I'm a Team Mahaley coach and opposing coach, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host today,
Danielle Kissenberger. That's so cute. Yay. Now, today we're talking about identity shifting.
Yes.
We're kind of taking a deep dive into our lives.
Yeah.
Recently.
I think we hinted to it last episode. So if you guys haven't already, go back and watch last week's, which was actually just posted yesterday, Wednesday, because we record these.
Today is.
Yeah.
Dude, I woke up and I was like, I told Justin, I called him, or he called me. And I freaked out. I thought it was Saturday and I was like, oh my God.
Like, I missed it.
Yeah. My days were so thrown off. It took me like 2 minutes in bed just laying there like the world is burning.
I for sure thought it was Friday. I did the same thing. Like, I woke up and I was like, I didn't do my check-ins yesterday. Like, Justin is going to kill me.
Yeah.
I'm on prep and I forgot. And then I was like, wait, no, it's Thursday.
Dude,
like,
yeah. And I was sitting there, I was like, how did I get 2 days?
Like, how did we get here?
Yeah. That's funny. But I wanted to share my little story with you.
Yes.
So obviously Jason Pittsburgh and I'm watching Peyton, right? And so I was taking him to the dog park to play fetch, and it was doing so good. It was just very smooth. Like, it was gonna be a calm. I was gonna come back, watch a podcast, make some steak, and just have like a nice night. Well, we were playing fetch, and like I chose an area of the park that wasn't really busy for many reasons, but mostly because Peyton's likes to greet
He's so friendly,
everyone. And so we were playing, and I personally, Jay doesn't like this, and now I don't like this either. Peyton likes to roll around, like dogs like roll. And like, I think the grass feels like a back scratch. I don't know. And so I was letting him like do a little bit, just a little bit.
Like a little roll.
But what I didn't know is he was doing it in a big, huge patch of just stickers. Like, it was only stickers.
Oh no.
And afterwards, so meanwhile, while this was happening, I was talking to an old lady. Oh my gosh, nice lady. I don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
But she she was like watching him, and like Peyton got up, and I was like, yeah, that just doesn't look good. Like, I just saw like patches. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, that just doesn't look fun. And I got closer, and like a golden retriever's fur is long. Peyton's fur is like long.
Yeah.
And like, so that thing was matted. And then it gets worse because in the stickers was a dead frog that he was like rubbing his whole body on. This guy smelled so bad, dude. This guy stunk. And like, I had to walk home with him, and I smelled. And then on our way back, like Hugh, the chiropractor, yelled our names. So I was like, oh my God, like, save me. Like, what do I do? Because I didn't know how to, like, you can't really brush his hair.
Yeah.
So that's just going to, So I asked him questions, and I was like, do we smell? And he was like, yeah. It was pretty bad. I felt we were like walking the walk of shame all the way back. And so it was like 8 p.m. and we got in the shower, and luckily the cream rinse or shampoo like made it easier. It was easy for the whole body except for the tail. I had to get some scissors for that one.
Dude.
Yeah.
That is rough.
Yeah.
That is not fun.
It wasn't fun. And I was at 18,000 steps too. I was feeling it. I was like, I need that couch now. Which was my fault. But all of it was my fault. He was being a dog, and I was just being an irresponsible mom.
Well, not really, because like the stickers kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest, because I know where you're talking about.
Dude.
Murph and I went there yesterday by ourselves.
Yeah.
And we saw like a little Aussie rolling. And then same thing, like the Aussie got up, and I was like, his fur looks weird.
Yeah.
He like ran over to Murph. He was covered in stickers. And I was like, buddy, where is your owner? I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I texted Jay, and I was like, look, I'm following your rules for the rest of my life. These fun rolls are out. That was the
so
end of
funny.
I was like, no. But it's okay. It was like an event.
It's a whole thing.
He wasn't very happy, but I wasn't either. So we were in pain together. Yeah.
Oh no. Was he at least like, did he let you take the stickers out nicely?
Yeah. He's really calm about that. My dog growing up was not. Like, I couldn't get close to her, but it was good. Like, he was fine. And I think he was so tired too. I was too, but I had to do the work. That he just laid down because like it was like a 60-minute shower. It probably wasn't. It was at least 30 though.
Yeah.
And I took him out, and the tail was gonna be an after the shower effect like work system. So he just like slept there while I like picked at his tail for the next 30 minutes.
Oh my god.
It was an eventful.
Dang.
Yeah. But his head still, so I didn't do his head yet. Like I didn't like wash his head because I was like, this guy's tired. And like, I need to still wash his head because I can still smell odor. And it's not that bad. But because I was there and I know exactly what was happening, I know like I probably smell it and people don't, but I just like.
You get like a hint of it and you're just like, I know what that is.
Yeah. We don't want that. It was, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, there goes Fun D. It's just like, you're like Peyton, like.
I know. But I feel bad. I like, he was being a dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, let a dog be a dog. But then I understand reasons like this of why people don't let their dogs be dogs. Just like roll them around,
Yeah.
It was not fun. Nope. I was so embarrassed. It was mostly the smell.
Yeah. I feel like I would be too. I'd be like, damn, dude, you really.
Mm-hmm. And like North Shore, like there's some preppy, is that the word? Petty? Preppy. What? High-end people.
Yeah.
And like they're nice, but they also give you looks at times.
Yeah.
Luckily, no one was there, but I was like, D, you're going to walk in here.
And just.
And look, and smell. It's just not going to be great. I was ready for it.
You were mentally preparing yourself.
Yeah.
I'm glad no one was in there.
I was so lucky. It was.
Oh my gosh.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I don't think I would have had the patience. Good on you. Because like I would have just been like, well.
Dude, he was in the shower and the door was closed and I was like, do I want to cry right now for like 2 minutes? Just let it out. And I was like, get in. You're too tired. Just get in.
just do.
Just help him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
I probably would have cried.
I know.
To be honest.
In prep, I definitely would have cried. I would have cried and sat there. Yeah.
Actually, I was talking to Emily today about how we like bully ourselves at the gym if we can't lift the weights. And then she goes, yeah, I just tell myself like, you're going to be a loser if you don't lift this. And I was like, oh, same. I'm like, you're a pro, lift this weight. And she's like, if I don't, I cry. I'm like, I literally cry.
Yeah.
Like every week, at least once. Yeah. I cry.
Especially in prep because you're so fragile. Fragile. Yeah.
Fragile. Both.
You're not there. It's just like emotion.
Yeah.
Because everything's hard.
Dang.
Yeah. That was my event. Hopefully that was like the only sporadic event.
That's like the only event that'll happen with all the travel and stuff. Yeah.
I hope. Well, now I learned my lesson. Yeah, that was fun. But identity shifting. Let's dive in.
Oh, yes. Okay, the topic, identity shifting. So it was actually Jill who like sparked this because of a reel that I think we made together, or I don't remember. We were filming reels and I was talking about how like a lot of the time motivation doesn't last when it comes from like external sources, because really if you're trying to change your lifestyle, it has to come from within. And that often starts with like changing your identity and who you perceive yourself to be, or who you think you are, that identity that you're so attached to, you have to shift that. So I feel like that's kind of where we were going to take the topic today.
I like what you said because, well, you'll agree with this because you're way older than me. My first like transformation mentally, like when you're a teen, you feel yourself evolve, like you find like your mindset kind of thing. Usually like friends come and go kind of thing. So I remember the first time that I was like struggling to become who I wanted to become. I was like, the only reason why I'm struggling really is because I view myself as my old self. And like, I need to view myself as the person I want to be. And so taking your mind and like switching perspective on yourself to be in a powerful place is really, I think that's like the foundation of starting yourself off for success and becoming whoever you want to be.
Yeah. I think that's a huge point. And like at the time that you were making that shift, did you consciously realize it?
Yeah. Well, I was so young, dude. Ask me now, it's different. Right now, I consciously realize it.
Right.
Because I'll realize, like, usually when anxiety is high or bad sleep or anything like that, and you're just not in your best, like, ray of sunshine mood.
Yeah.
That's when it's like you have those, like, thoughts of, like, they're almost self-sabotage, but they're not at the same time, but they really are at the end of the day. So it's recognizing those things. Like, the person you want to become, would she be thinking that these things about yourself? Like, would she choose this, or would she choose, like, something else, kind of thing? Like, the choices, the thoughts, the actions, the viewpoint. Like, you got to put yourself of the person that you want to become. How would they view things? What would they choose?
Yeah. So you have to view yourself as that identity already, as that person, and then your actions will shift that way, and then you'll see, like, the rest of your life kind of shift that way. But I think a lot of people struggle because they're so attached to their old identity. They, like, can't let go of who they were, and so then they're in that state, I think, that you're talking about, of anxiety and just not feeling their best, but they just, like, can't let go. So in those cases, like, have you experienced that?
Yeah, and I do think I have, but I think a lot of new athletes who start prep, their biggest fear is, like, they can't stay committed, or even people who commit to a coach. Like, that's their biggest fear. For one, like, we're going to help you through that. For two, you're not, like, going to be perfect. And for three, the only reason why you don't believe in yourself is because you've always not believed in yourself. So, like, you have to put yourself in a position to change that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because I think those people that struggle with that the most is because, like, their actions, like, constantly self-sabotage what they really want, and their thoughts do the same thing. So they don't have anything to back them up on their self-belief to realize that they actually can commit and do it. And I also think it's more of an emotional way. Like, logically, we can do whatever. If you think logically, like, you can say yes or no. Food is so temporary.
Yeah.
If you think emotionally, like, that food, that meal, like, is going to taste delicious, like, you need to have it. Logically, it's going to be there till the day you die. You don't have to have it today. You don't have to have it tomorrow. Like, you can have it in a year. Like, achieve your goals right now.
Yeah. The delayed gratification versus, like, what's right in front of you. I think you brought up a good point too, especially with, like, the new athletes and food. If you've never dieted or never restricted yourself with food, if you don't have a good coach, it is not going to go well.
Yeah.
Like, point blank, period. I know very little, if anyone, who has, like, successfully taken themselves through a diet that was, like, sustainable and healthy and lasted long. Most of the time, that's what starts the yo-yo dieting. So it's hard because people they want that instant gratification. They want, like, to lose weight immediately and be the smaller person because they think that's going to bring them happiness when honestly it's not. Like, you have to love yourself as you are right here, right now, and then accept that it's okay to want to change too.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also, like, I like that point you made, because a lot of people, I think it's easy to get caught up in what you think others want, like society or your friends or your boyfriend want the skinny version. Like, you don't have to, if you don't want that for yourself, you want to be strong, like, be strong. Like, even if that's against what your family or your friends or your boyfriend wants, like, at the end of the day, you're the one looking at your body in the mirror, and, like, you're the one with yourself. You're gonna,
Yeah.
So also, like, if you really want the goal for yourself, it's easier to commit an identity shift for that goal.
Yeah, that's huge. Like, you have to want a certain goal.
Yeah.
So, like, we could put it in so many perspectives.
I have a perspective.
Yeah,
Unless you wanted to talk.
No, my
Okay.
brain.
So diving into, like, me recently, I have like a big identity, wake up call. I had a big wake up call, like, maybe 2 weeks ago. And, like, I was constantly asked by Jay, is it, like, do I want this? Like, is this what I want? Just changing for the goals that I have and whatnot. Like, I'm 21, so there's, like, so many routes that I could go. And, like, usually 21-year-olds party, and, like, I could go that route if I want, and it's totally okay. I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that was, like, my, not my wake up call, but just just part of what I'm trying to explain of what, like, if what you want is going to help you transform into your identity shifting. So, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You had a choice,
Yeah.
and either choice that you make, you're sacrificing something.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look at those choices and decide, what am I willing to sacrifice?
Mm-hmm.
Am I willing to sacrifice being a normal 21-year-old
Yeah.
and going out and having fun with my friends, partying, drinking, which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. Like, there's no judgment there. Like, I did it. I've been there. Party girl. Like, that was an identity of mine for sure. But it didn't align with my long-term goals. Once I found bodybuilding, I was like, no, I have a goal within bodybuilding, and my whole life shifted. So you essentially were in that place too. You're like, okay, I have two choices here. I can like have fun and enjoy and like go drinking and party and whatever, or I can keep pursuing my bodybuilding goals.
Yeah.
And either way that you choose is totally fine, and it's right for you. But there's going to be sacrifices both ways.
Yeah. And it's like important for what you want. But like, I feel like I've never really had a party phase. High school was my party phase, my first 2 years. But there will be like times in an off season that I go out more. And I think when you like first get into off season, like you want to, because you like missed kind of that life.
Yeah.
Different part of life in your life. But like once you're at like the stage that I'm at, you just want to feel good. Like within your career, like when you're in your physique, like so you can be able to prep and be like you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. That makes sense. And so that identity, like you were kind of caught in the middle because you've had a lot of success, a lot of growth. So you're getting to this point where like you're Coach D, like that's part of your identity. And then you could have gone like, you could have evolved into different versions. So then having to choose.
Exactly. And I think you'll agree too, like where we're at right now is like not where we want to be. Like this is not where anywhere close. Like I'm like we're both growing in a direction that we would love and like want to, but we're nowhere close where we know like Coach Noa and Coach D could be kind of
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what's exciting. And that's what needs to like fuel the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's part of like instant gratification versus long-term gratification, because long-term gratification is just so much more fulfilling.
Yeah. And it is something that like in the last few weeks I've gone through myself, is the same sort of reflection of like, okay, where I'm at currently, I'm very grateful for, and I love it, but it's nowhere near close to what I know I could be doing and what I see myself doing. And so the behavior behind that, like I knew I needed to change some things like immediately that were within my control, like environment, people, just the way that I was operating day to day, because I saw other people doing it and I was like, that's what I want. Like, and I can do that. I'm just not acting in accordance to that goal. So I had like a similar wake up call, I would say. Not like a literal like call though, but like
wait a second, he's throwing shade.
No. No shade.
That's fucking funny. That was awesome. I love that. You're hilarious. That was cool.
Thank you. Cool. But yeah, I think we've both been going through like very big shifts in our identities, and we are now like realigned with where we want to be and like who we're striving to be.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's things that can like help you just push your identity too, like routine for me. I've realized too, it was yesterday, when I came back from Vegas, I didn't really have a routine because I needed to figure out like just some mental health things. And now like I'm in a more of a spot where I'm like, okay, I want to have like a set routine that makes me feel good when I wake up and go to sleep every day. It makes me feel like purposeful. I think that for people who are identity shifting, you have to make your routine serve your new identity. So that way you're acting upon change and not just saying you're changing.
Yeah, 100%. Like the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, the more structure that you can implement in that day-to-day that aligns with who you're trying to be, the better, because then there's freedom in the structure is what I've found. Because if I structure my day like with time blocks and I set these mini goals for myself within the day, one, I know that all of it's going to get done. So even if I do like fall behind, I know that I have ways to like get all the work done.
Mm-hmm.
But then like B, if I need to pivot somewhere, I'm so time blocked. Like I know like, okay, I can switch this appointment with this, or I can switch this posing call with this athlete. And it's like way less stressful than me trying to go through my day with no sense of what's going on. Like I'm like, oh, a call, like, oops, I have to do this. Oops.
Yeah.
And like that didn't feel good at all. So
It doesn't because then your life's just hectic. Your day's hectic, your schedule's hectic, your anxiety builds.
And like something always falls off. Like at the end of the day when you're going to bed, you're like, for me, I was like, shit, I didn't even pose myself today. Like I run through my routine.
That's what happens.
You know, and
that's what I told. Well, yesterday was a little different because of the Peyton situation. Yeah. But like it was a good day. Mm-hmm. I had calls that I like I didn't forget, but I like did forget at the same time. I did forget. They were on my schedule, but like my day was thrown off because my routine was thrown off. So like that's the same thing. Yeah. And then you get to the end of the day and you're like, what did you do for yourself? Yeah. And then that's where you lose yourself from your identity shifting. Because if you lose routine, life's just so hectic. Even if you feel like you're moving in the right direction and doing more for other people than you are for yourself, you're not identity shifting. You're self-sabotaging. Yeah. Yeah. Which is what I found too. Yeah. Are you laughing because I keep stuttering?
No. I'm laughing because like that's literally how I feel. And then I have to tell myself like, okay, if I'm trying to shift into being a bikini Olympian, like if that is the identity that I'm striving for, that I want to be on the Olympia stage, an Olympian would practice her posing. And like I have to tell myself that because I'm like, okay, I really want to go to bed. I'm exhausted. Like I don't feel very well, but it doesn't matter because who I'm trying to be would practice her posing. So like even if that's literally 2 minutes of like I put on my heels, I put on my suit, I set up my curtain and I record myself doing my routine, then I can go to bed and I'm like, I ran through my routine at least. Like that's the least that I could do. And I don't feel like the anxiety of, I'm not going to be an Olympian. Like, and it's not that serious, but like it kind of
when it affects your mental health, it is. And I agree. Like, it's not so much the time you do it, it's the fact that you get up and do it. Mm-hmm. Like that's what matters. It's the action and purpose of doing it for yourself that matters the most. Yeah. And like, so that's awesome.
That's huge. The action. Like the action and the purpose behind it. I feel like that's really important.
Yeah. Again, with the changing into your identity for someone else or versus yourself is vastly different. Mm-hmm. It's also going to help you achieve your identity much faster. The identity that you want to achieve for yourself much faster. I also, because I'm big on like creativity, I love being like curious about, anything, things that I don't. So I picked up things that I don't know. That's why I picked up shuffling. Yeah. And so I know when I feel, I can recognize when I feel hectic or like my anxiety rise when like I haven't shuffled or done anything creative or learned anything new for like an extended period of time. That's when I'm like, okay, like you're out of your routine, like for yourself kind of thing.
Yeah. You're ending up sacrificing for everyone, but you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Which I have a lot more days of those than I want to have. But I think that's part of the learning. Mm-hmm. It's learning to like say no to things that aren't necessarily serving you in the way that you want and making sure you make time for the things that will serve you.
Yeah. I think that's really important too. And that's hard to make room for things that will serve you better. And like the letting go of things that aren't serving you, that is really hard. Like for me personally, I feel like that's probably where I struggle the most because I will like give everything to an athlete or somebody that I care about, even if it means like almost like disrespecting my own boundaries. Yeah. Like I'm on prep. The last thing I want to do is like drive a couple hours to like go help somebody for 30 minutes. But I still do it. And it's like, I'm not respecting myself there because I don't want to do these things, but I almost feel like, oh, I have to.
You don't. Yeah.
But I don't. Like it just comes down to me communicating my needs and being like.
Do you think what's harder for you, or is it both? Is it communicating that with them, or is it saying no, or is it like the boundary, applying the boundary? Or do you know how to apply the boundary, you just don't know how to communicate it?
I think it's like the initial of like saying no. Because in the moment, if somebody asks me for something and I'm like in a good mood or it's been a great day and I have high energy and it's like far enough in advance where we're scheduling like weeks out, which is how I usually schedule. I schedule like weeks in advance. I'm like, yeah, sure, that's great. But then like the event itself comes, I'm like, oh man, dang it, I made this commitment. But then that's something that like I really value is like if I say that I'm going to do something or be somewhere, I will, unless like something out of my control makes that not possible.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like living authentic to like myself and like it's just part of, I feel like it's part of my values and it's something that I really have a strong foundation on is like if I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then even if the time comes and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to, it's like I already made the commitment and like I'm going to.
So I want to ask you to do this for yourself. I want you to, if there's like situations like that, I want you to ask yourself, is it serving you? And if the answer is no, then I want you to say no. Because I promise that's going to change your life. I promise you. And I'm not like, I need to do the same thing. I can't like call you. I'm not calling you at all because like,
I don't feel called
also
out.
being to myself because there's a lot I need to like say no to. But I know it helps us and I know it will. And I think that's it's the hardest thing to start. But once you start doing it, it's the easiest thing to keep going.
Yeah. I think so too. There are like other areas of my life where I feel like I'm really good with that. It's just more so maybe like my coaching and my personal relationships that I have a hard time with.
Mm-hmm. The people that you love. Yeah. Those. Yeah.
Like people that I care about, I just have such a hard time. But
I feel the same way. Yeah. I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
It is hard, but it's also, I think it's setting a boundary, and for me, it's not so much hard saying no to them. It's hard for me to create the boundary mostly because I need to create more of a routine. So I have more boundaries up.
Gotcha. So more of like time or.
Yeah. Like in a prep phase, you have routine. It's like you live by that kind of thing. I need to have that right now with the goals that I have with my identity shifting. The only way to achieve like my identity shifting with the phase that I'm in is by having more of a strict routine in that way. And it's not so much like pose at this time, eat at this, like it's not that. It's more so, I get up at this hour because I want to set my mind right for the day, or like routine as in like this time on Wednesdays or this time twice a week, I'm doing something for me. I'm going to the park to meditate kind of thing. So it's all like mental health kind of stuff. So that way I know if I adjust that and have a boundary for my mental health, everything else is going to just flourish more.
Yeah. It'll follow.
Yeah.
I feel that. That was literally me yesterday because it was a rest day from the gym. And whenever I have a rest day, I like honestly I get kind of bored because that's like 2 hours of my day that's like now free time. And so I was like, oh, I'll just take a nap. And then I was like, no, I need steps. I should go outside. And then I was like, oh, Murphy could probably use a walk. So then I was like, why don't I just go downtown and walk around? Because that always like makes me happy. But then it was almost like my old self was trying to fight me every step of the way. Like
I know exactly what you're talking about because there wasn't a direct like choice. There was all these I could do's, and there wasn't like anything that was like I want to do them all, but I don't necessarily want to do them all at the same time. I know exactly what you mean, and I had the same situation yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
which is so funny because then like, so what I put Murphy away. I put him in his crate. And I walked out the door. And then I was like, why am I crating him to go walk around by myself? Like he could enjoy outside too. So then I walked back in, I grabbed him, I put him in my car, and then we're driving in downtown and there's traffic. And I was like, you know what, screw it. Let me just turn around and go back home. There's traffic going back home too. So I was like, okay, screw it. I'm halfway to downtown. I might as well keep going. And then like Murphy's having a freaking panic attack in the trunk, like just
No way,
he's
dude.
just like
This is awesome.
He's like panting and drooling, and I'm like, hey, like knock it off. And like I'm just like, oh, my car is gonna smell like dog. Like
No, this is funny.
Literally every step of the way, I was like fighting myself. And then we went to like by the nail salon.
Okay.
And I like parked kind of close to there because it's free parking.
Mm-hmm.
And we got on the trail, and I was just like, okay, this isn't so bad. This is fine. And we're walking and walking, walking. We walked all the way to that dog park.
Oh, that's
like the off-leash dog park. And then I was like, hey, let me just sit here for a little bit. And I like texted some people and just like hung out with myself. And I just like lay in the grass. And then I ended up meeting some random guy. Like some guy came up to me and started chatting with me. So we like had a cool conversation. But his dog was the dog that like rolled in the stickers, the Aussie. But it was weird because his dog's name was Yeti. And like Zach's job interview was at Yeti. And then this guy like works with engineers. And so I was like, it is so crazy. Like if I wouldn't have, and I like got his information and stuff. So I'm like, I feel like I'm networking, which I haven't done in a long time. But I was just reflecting on that because I was like, if I had at any point like given up and turned around and gone home and just like sat at home by myself, I wouldn't have like met my step goal. Like I went beyond my step goal, to be honest, but like I wouldn't have had such a nice walk and met new people and gotten sunshine and just felt mentally better. I probably would have felt mentally worse. And it was just like, sometimes you just have to do the thing that you know is going to make you better.
Yeah. I think getting outside, especially downtown, is one of those things because obviously I live there, but there will be times at night. Well, not recently, but before I went to Las Vegas, before the wake up call happened, I would just like, I hit my step goal. I would just sit in my house that night. And mostly because I was tired, but I wasn't tired enough to go to bed.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, just get outside. Like it makes you feel so much better. Like mentally.
Like just do something, like, walk around.
Give yourself some purpose. Like don't just, it's hard. Like sitting there, it kind of drains your your mental health, I think.
Yeah.
Like your mindset in that moment. Unless it's needed and you're about to take a nap, then by all means, like, dude.
Sometimes you gotta just take a nap.
I'm telling you. Right now, yeah. Not right now, but like today, oof, I'm excited to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be good. I think one thing for this prep that has like really changed my mindset too was something Ross told me. He was like, objects in motion stay in motion. Like don't let yourself sit down and chill until the end of the day.
It's very true.
And yeah, it's literally changed my prep. Like this prep has been so easy because I don't sit down. I don't stop moving. Like this is probably the longest that I've sat all day.
Yeah.
And like also my butt
helps,
hurts
though.
when I sit for too long.
Yeah.
So, but like it does. It helps. Like walking around, you get your steps in way more easily. And like you just have more energy because you're forcing yourself to like stand and fidget and you just have more energy.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It does help though too. I know. So yesterday was one like, well, I don't really remember what I did yesterday. I do. The sticker situation threw me off. But today, like I kept myself moving and I was like, I could definitely like, I really don't have time, but I could like lay down for like 15 minutes and like be okay. Yeah. It's like, no, like you're already like going, like keep on going. I do think there's a lot of purpose in that. Like once you sit there for an extended period of time, like you've allowed yourself to get into like, I'm going to say a lazy state, even if it's not intentionally lazy and you still like are productive, but it's not as productive as if you were to get up and just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And like, I wouldn't say that either of us are like lazy.
Yeah.
Like we definitely take the rest when needed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So if people are like wondering like how they can shift their identities, what would we tell them? They should have a goal, I feel like first. I would first
ask them like, well, like who do you want to be? But I feel like most people don't assess that. They don't think they think about who they want to be on social media, like what this person's posting, how they copy it, how can they get likes, get a following, stuff like that, or how can they get a certain guy to like them or something like that. I don't think a lot of people know who they want to become because they don't know what they want to do. but they don't like, I think it happened like you don't have to know what you want to do per se, but just have a goal in mind that's pushing you forward in some way.
Yeah.
So the first thing would be like, know what you want out of yourself. And it doesn't have to be like this complete like masterpiece, you know? It could be just be like, I just want to stop eating fast food throughout the week.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Or you could literally say, I want to change the world. Something, you know, it can be anything. But that could be like, that's for me is something that I know, but I think writing it down too helps a lot.
Yeah.
Having a clear mind, like assessing like where your goals are at within everything and writing it down helps a lot. Cause then it's just constantly like, you just constantly tell yourself.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like writing it down to me almost like solidifies it because you put it on paper and then you're also putting it out into the universe. Cause then you have this like tangible thing that you can look at and read what you wrote and be like, yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. Instead of just kind of, to me, it's like a map. Like if you write it down, then you have kind of a map of like, okay, here's where I'm trying to get. And then you can reverse engineer it in your like daily life. So you can like take steps to get to that person. But I also agree with you. I don't know if everybody knows who they are. Like I know even a few months ago, I had a meeting with somebody and they were like, who's Noah? I sat there for like 5 minutes in silence because I was like, I'm Noah. Like I'm a data analyst. I'm a coach. I'm a bodybuilder. And it's like,
no, what
but
are you
like,
really?
but
yeah,
like what else? Like those are your job titles. That's like what you do. But like, who are you? And just being challenged in that way and then being like, okay, shit, you're right. Like I need to take a look. Who am I right now? And who do I want to be? And then that really helped me figure out like, okay, the way that I'm currently living is not it. Like this is not what I want for myself. It's easy, it's comfortable, but it's not what I want. I want something different. I want a different life. And to have that different life, I need to be that different person today and like live that through my actions today.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Do you feel like you know who Noah is or do you know more of Noah? More like, do you have a complete answer?
I would say I have like a more strong sense of who I am at this point, but I wouldn't say that it's like 100%. Like I would have a foundation. I'm someone who's like very authentic, very genuine. I value honesty, communication. I'm very loving. I'm very kind. I'm very emotional, but I can also be someone who holds space for other people and like isn't emotional, if that makes sense. Like I'm able to
boundary.
Yeah.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah. I can compartmentalize. I am a coach, but like more than that, I'm somebody who impacts people and I want to spread that impact as far as I can. Like I just want to positively impact as many people as I can and help everyone realize like you truly have the power within yourself. Like you are so powerful. Anything that you want, you can have. Like you just have to decide that you want it and then go after it and you'll have it.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the pep talk.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I know.
As I knock over everything.
That's so funny. It's the same with bodybuilding though. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I was walking around and I was like, well, I know I look like I lift and like I'm a bodybuilder, but I want to walk around and be like, within myself, I want to know I'm a bodybuilder all the time kind of thing. I want to feel it. More so than just like, it's just a different kind of, I'm trying to explain it because in a prep phase, you do everything like a bodybuilder. In an off season, kind of same thing. You're just doing it. You have a little more flexibility. I want to walk around with this title of like, I'm an elite bodybuilder. I do that because I love it. Yeah. And I want it to always be there in my like persona. And I'm going to kind of change topics, but it's on the same topic. Yeah. So 2 days ago, we were at Justin's and I texted you that he didn't like my videos, right? Because I was slouching. Well, he was like, he did a collage. This is why I texted you, because I was really sad. If he listens to this, he is going to be like, I know you're sad. I was so sad, bro.
I could tell.
I was so sad. And it wasn't, this is what made me sad. I sent him the pics of the selfies, well, the pics that Jill took
Mm-hmm.
And then like those obviously, I don't know if you saw them. They looked really good. He made a collage of that and then the video and side by side. I know. And let me tell you,
Bruh.
I looked so bad, but not in a way that's like, I just looked unprofessional, unconfident. I didn't look like myself. Like, it lost like the spark. And he was like, where'd this girl go? She's right here. Like, it's the same day. You just like bring her out kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on is like being that person all the time, not just like when I feel good. And it's mostly I'm not gonna lie, like I want to do that for other people, but it's mostly because I hate feeling bad. Like I hate feeling like I did yesterday where I was like too hectic, didn't have routine kind of thing. Like I want to feel like myself. Yeah.
And I feel like you know yourself well enough to know when like it's not what you want to present to the world.
Yeah. That's the thing too. It's funny because like I feel like I used to be very connected and aligned with what I wanted to present to the world. And it was like also how I presented myself to myself when I was alone.
Mm-hmm.
And not that they're like two different people, but like I definitely like lost myself. And then now I'm like, I have my good and bad days. And I don't want to have those bad days, which is just time and constantly working on yourself.
And practice. Yeah. And just like having that patience with yourself, which I think you've done a good job of.
Thanks. I think I do a good job of assessing.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like fidgeting today.
Dude, I was fidgeting. I got too excited and I started to lean up.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do that. I get too excited about things. But it's constant work.
It is. And I just think mostly I want people to realize that you can be whoever you want to be. Like it really, you're not the only limitations that you have are the ones that you place upon yourself. And like that self-belief, if you believe that you can be somebody who goes to the gym, like maybe you don't want to be a gym girl, but maybe you want to be somebody who goes to the gym, or you want to be somebody who lives long enough so they can play with their grandkids. If that's the identity that you want to shift into, you have to believe that you are that person and then take the actions that will lead you there. So a person who wants to be healthy for their grandkids is likely not going to eat out every night per week. They're likely going to go to the gym, or they're going to get some sort of daily movement in. It's not going to be a sedentary lifestyle. And even those small daily shifts, like if you wake up and you're like, I am going to be the healthiest version of myself I can be today. Maybe that means like not going out to happy hour with your coworkers 2 nights a week. It just means 1 night a week. Like there's so many examples I could come up with. I don't want to get lost in it because I feel like I could talk about that forever. But it literally just comes down to like you deciding who you want to be and like where you see yourself in the future. And then you take the daily actions that will get you there. And you have to like believe that you already are there. So it's kind of like a mind game as well. Like it takes mental focus and resilience, and then also like taking action.
Yeah, I agree. It's just constant work and self-assessment.
Yeah.
I think self-assessment is a huge, I think meditation's so good for that. It's a huge like part of the identity shifting.
Yeah.
But like for me personally, I think you have to understand and grasp and accept where you're at now and that it's not what you want, instead of ignoring the fact that like this isn't what you want kind of thing.
Yeah. I've definitely had people who say like, oh, well, it would be nice to lose weight, but like, I just can't lose weight. It's like,
You don't want to. You don't want to identity shift.
right.
To do the work for that.
The identity is still tied to like your old self. You haven't yet realized that you can lose weight.
And that's part of, I think, the commitment too. Like they fear they can't commit. You don't have to be perfect, dude. You can literally change one choice in your life. One choice. Just saying no 1 time a week. Just once.
Yeah.
That's literally, you're setting yourself up for just changing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I say no every time I drive by Crumble.
You really like Crumble, dude?
Hey, I love Crumble. Okay. I'm going to tell y'all a secret. Don't tell anybody. It was like right before we officially started prep. I had been hanging out with y'all downtown, and I was driving home to Buda, and there's a crumble.
Did you get one?
Bro, I got a 6-pack.
Wait, you got a 6-pack of different kinds?
I got all the different cookies.
That's fucking awesome.
I took a picture. I sent it to Megan, and I was like, this is after she'd moved to Florida. And I was like, hey, I miss you, because she was my cookie buddy.
Yeah.
And then she was like, you better eat all of those. And I was like, low key, I might. But I took them home, and like Zach and I like cut them up.
Yeah.
But I definitely had like a bite of each one, like for sure.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
taste test.
It was so good.
Yeah.
That was my little secret, though. I definitely went off plan that day. But like, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But like,
and you're about to start prep.
Yeah.
The day before, days before, to be honest. If I'd known somebody prep on like a Monday, those last 3 days, the weekend, like,
Right.
dude, I'm about to go all in. And I know, like, for us, we've been doing it for so long, we can literally like cut ourselves, like, it's a flash on, what do you call that? Like the light, we turn the light on or turn it off, whatever. We can do that so easily without like it affecting our mental health or mood or anything. Most people can't be like that. But
right. Like
I'm
the
just
all or
saying,
nothing mindset. It was more so like I was missing Megan, and I was like kind of looking for some sort of like experience or memory before I started prep. And like Zach also likes the cookies. So I was like, But like ever since then, every time I drive by, I'm like, bye friends. But like that, because my identity right now has shifted. Like before I started prep, and you guys have even told me this, like before I started prep to now, I'm a different person. And that's because of the choices that I've made along the way and the identity that I've shifted into. Because now I'm not just like, oh, I got my pro card. Like I am a pro, I'm a bikini pro. And my next identity that I'm trying to shift into is an Olympian. So I have to think like higher, I guess.
Yeah.
And so like crumble isn't going to get me to the Olympia.
Yeah.
Is what I think, is what I tell myself. And then it helps me
It's
make
not,
that shift.
but at the same time, in like an off season, it's okay.
Yes.
Because it will still benefit you if it benefits your mental health to an extent, not to the point where you're like, well, my mental health needs it every day. Girl, no, it does not.
Right. There's like, there's a fine line to walk. We're not expecting perfection, but we are expecting consistency. You are what you consistently do. So if you consistently break your own promises to yourself and get crumble every day, no, you're not going to make progress. But you don't have to be so rigid and so perfect that like you deprive yourself for so long that like one day you just snap and like go all out and binge or something. Or like you end up resenting bodybuilding or resent dieting. Like that's not good either. The two extremes. There's like there's a moderate.
Yeah, and in the moderate, you can still be all in a healthy amount.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa. Do you want to talk about the self-doubt versus being realistic on this one or the next one?
Next one.
Next one. Okay, cool. I think
that's what I have.
Cool. That's what I have too.
Well, now you know what we're talking about next.
Yes, exactly. But if you guys have any questions or you want to talk more about shifting your identity, or if you are looking to become a gym girly and you want that guidance, hire a coach, hire one of us, reach out to us in the DMs. We would love to help guide you, because having that accountability and guidance is really important too.
Yeah. Lead you to success.
Yes.
And happiness.
Exactly. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
I hope y'all really enjoyed the podcast today, leaving it feeling more relentless than ever. But we have a few things that we would love to ask of you, so I'm going to give this over to Noa.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you could, I know that this is your new favorite podcast. Please leave a 5-star rating and review. Leave any comments and questions below. And make sure that you're sharing across social media so that all of your friends get to listen to the greatest podcast on earth.
And if you have any questions about any topics that we talk about or anything at all, fitness, competing related, anything, we comment, we'll hit you back up, Instagram or in the podcast under, if the comment box is there, then we will definitely answer your questions and help you out as best as we can.
Absolutely. So leave those 5-star reviews, let us know, and we'll talk to y'all again soon.
Have a relentless day.
Bye.